Presenting with me today is Matt Looney, Director of Business Development at Security Coverage. Matt comes from the operator side of the industry, having spent time at both DirecTV and Dish Network's largest distribution partner. He's been in the telecom cable industry for nearly 8 years now and speaks at a number of different conferences throughout the year on topics such as supporting broadband subscribers, reducing support costs, and much more. For this webcast, we will examine how the support model and structure of ISP providers must evolve in order to meet the new consumer demands of the connected world. Specifically, we're going to learn more core elements to a successful support program, why that current support techniques won't cut it, how adapting new support models can turn frustrated customers into enthusiastic brand promoters, and most importantly, how to monetize support opportunities created by these new consumer expectations. During this webinar, your microphones will be on mute, but we'll invite you to participate by submitting questions through the Q&A tab, which is located towards the bottom of your control panel. We'll also take about 10 to 15 minutes towards the end of the webcast to field any and all of your questions. Before we begin, I'd like to hand it off to Matt here to cover just a little bit more details about security coverage.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks so much for the introduction, Mike. Appreciate everybody jumping on and spending some time with us here this afternoon. Hopefully, wherever you're calling from, the sun is shining and you've got some nice summer weather. I'm personally calling in from Scottsdale, Arizona, where you can be absolutely sure we're getting some warm summer weather. It's been around 107 to 110 for the last week and a half here. So hopefully it's not quite that hot wherever you're at. But in any case, we appreciate you spending a few minutes with us here this afternoon. We're really pleased to draw from our expertise and hopefully provide some value and some insights to you. Maybe a couple of them will even change the way you do business or the kinds of products and services that you offer. So where does that expertise come from? I thought it'd make a little bit of sense here to introduce security coverage. We have over 350 partners today. Most of those are cable or telco carriers, just like most of us on the call. We have some retail partners and some warranty and extended service plan partners. But the vast majority come from the cable and the telco business. I know most of you who registered share that industry as well. So a lot of us come from the operator side at security coverage. So we've got a really unique perspective in that we know what a lot of your challenges are each day and what kind of keeps you up at night in that industry. We've been in business since 2003, so we're going on 12 years now at this, and I think we've gotten pretty good at it over those 12 years, and I think a lot of our partners would agree. We are a leading developer of both mobile and PC security, data protection products, file backup products, and login management. In addition to that, we are also a leading provider of technical support services. We handle about 40,000 calls per month in our call center right there in Cedar Rapids, of which you see a couple of photos there on the slide. So a little bit of a background on who we are and what kind of expertise and experience we're drawing from. So we're going to keep this presentation today fairly well organized into 4 sections. One is we want to talk through the connected consumer. There are a lot of changes happening in how people are consuming our broadband services today as carriers, and so we'll talk you through some research and some insights there. Then we'll look at the elements of the new support offering. So what are some of the recommendations and some of the capabilities that you need today to be able to effectively deliver technical support? 3, we'll talk about how to stand out in the crowd. We're all standing out in some way, and hopefully it's for a good reason, and we'll talk about some interesting insights related to that. And then lastly, we'll get into the actual monetization part of the discussion of how much can you charge, how do you price the packages out, what are some actual partner results that we can share, some anonymized results from partners of ours who are doing this with us. So we've got some really good insights here to share. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, and in the interest of time, I think we'll move relatively quickly. So hopefully you're able to get some good notes. We will pause for questions at the end, and in the meantime, if you have questions as we go, please feel free to enter those in the chat box. So to kind of start the discussion, it makes sense to look at our average customer's household today. And on your screen there, we have a visual of what that might look like from a side cutaway. Thinking about your average customer that consumes your broadband services, think about how complex that home network has become. The visual on the screen, I think, does a good job of demonstrating or visualizing that. we and our customers now have more devices than we ever have before inside of the home. I mean, look at all these examples and think about your own household, for example. How many connected devices you guys have in your own household? And you start to think about this environment, this home network environment. This is our customer. This is the person that is consuming our data products or our data services. So a couple of questions that we would pose to start the discussion is who provides support for this household? Who owns this environment? If or when a broadband provider has to turn the customer away, so if they call in for a third-party device and we have to tell them, listen, that's not part of our service, what is the experience? What is the perceived experience by the customer? Do they understand the difference between in scope and out of scope? These are all really important questions through which to be looking at our customer experience. And would a customer actually pay for support throughout the entire home? One of the bubbles there gives you the 86% statistic, and some recent research shows 86% of customers would pay more for a product that provides them better support throughout the home. So be thinking about your own home, and in fact, we're going to do an interactive poll here. We've got a couple of polls throughout this presentation. We're really excited to get your feedback, and so what I'm going to do is ask this poll question, and I'm going to go ahead and enable the choices on your screen. So thinking about your home itself and the number of connected devices that you may have in your home, and this could include things like smartphones, this could include tablets, this could include audio-video equipment, Wi-Fi enabled Blu-ray players, gaming consoles. When you think about the number of connected devices, and even ones you might not think of, like a Chromecast, for example, or a Wi-Fi enabled smartwatch. You think about that and try to total that up. And I see many of you are already voting and made that decision pretty quickly. And we've got a lot of results coming in here. It's always really interesting to do this at conferences. We typically will ask for a show of hands, and by process of elimination, we'll get up to the highest number. And usually it's somewhere in the 18 to 23 or 24 range. The last couple of conferences we've done this at. So always really interesting to see what our experience is. Okay, so looks like we've got a lot of votes in here. Looks like we've got most votes in, and I'm going to go ahead and show the poll results. We've got 73% of votes came in, and I'm going to share those results. So it looks like 5% of us have 5 or less devices inside the home. 47% of us have between 6 and 10, so that's the winner right there, somewhere between 6 and 10. 42% of us have between 11 and 15. None of us had between 16 and 20, and 5% actually had more than 20. So that would be the winner in terms of the one of us that has the most devices, or a couple of us. More than 20 is certainly the highest category. We had the heaviest distribution between 6 and 10, so almost 1 out of 2 of us had somewhere between 6 and 10 devices in our home. So always fun to see those statistics. I'm going to go ahead and hide those results here, and we'll get back onto the slide. So that's really where the industry average puts us today, is somewhere between 7 and 9 connected devices per broadband home. That number is actually growing quite a bit. As a matter of fact, in 2016, 2 billion connected consumer electronic devices should ship in 2016 alone. So for the first time ever, that number should reach 2 billion. A lot of that growth is coming on the mobile side, smartphones and tablets. In fact, the biggest delta comes from that category. So it's interesting to think, we're all internet providers on the call today. Most of those devices are going to be consuming our broadband connection. In fact, according to a recent FTC, Federal Trade Commission report, for the first time, the number of things connected to the internet, so inanimate objects connected to the internet, surpassed the number of people on the planet 6 years ago. So 6 years ago, in 2009, the number of devices connected to the internet surpassed the number of people on the planet. So really crazy to think about this almost explosion in the quantity of devices out there. So where is that number headed in the future? So we've talked about the average per home is somewhere between 7 and 9. Looks like many of us on the call today mirror that. Where is that headed in the future? In just 4.5 years from now, by 2020, current research estimates that there should be about 12 connected devices per home. So today, we're somewhere between 7 and 9. In the next 4.5 years, that number should be about 12. Think about all the different types of devices out there and the reasons that people are buying them. They're buying them to check social media. They're buying them for productivity. They're buying them to consume news and video and other media. They're buying them to purchase and consume music. And, when they can't do the things they buy these devices for, that's really where the pain points come into play. So we've talked a lot about that connected consumer and all the devices they're buying, and there's a lot of different reasons that they're buying them. What is the usage profile? If we look at, the types of dispositions that a customer is looking for. You should be able to see here the top 10 dispositions on your screen. Let me see if that did advance properly. So we're going to look through the top 10 call dispositions. We take technical support calls today for internet providers, voice, video, and data providers across the U.S. And we also do a lot of premium technical support as well. So we've taken our top 10 call dispositions, and we're showing them on the slide there in front of you. So this would be the usage profile. Number one is Wi-Fi network setup. So that's a very popular reason that people call. Two is Wi-Fi network troubleshooting. Three, virus and malware removal. So that's certainly one of the top reasons people are calling is malware infection rates on mobile devices is actually surpassing that of desktop devices. Peripherals, another very popular one. So, hey, I've bought a new Xbox. How do I get that hooked up to my home network? Number five, operating system and software install. So that's something that we can do remotely now, where we can help somebody reinstall an operating system or a specific piece of software. The second five here, data recovery, tune-up, that's a big one. Email support, your email client settings, very common reason for calls. Forgotten passwords, and 10 would just be kind of general diagnostics. So lots of different reasons that customers are calling today. So if you're thinking today about launching a solution like this, these would be certainly the top 10 service categories that you would want to be able to handle. So in summary, in section number one here, in summary from the connected consumer, as we looked at some of those changing dynamics and some of their needs, opportunity is certainly knocking. People are getting more and more frustrated in some cases. They're experiencing very complex home networks, and they're looking for premium tech support types of services. And so that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. So we talked through the connected consumer. Let's jump right into section number two, the elements of the new support. When we say new support, what we mean there is evolving support. Many of us who are on the call today have been a part of the operations or customer care function in the past, maybe for many, many years. Some of us remember when it was really just a modem that we were supporting, that was it. Or maybe even just a dial tone, maybe a few of us on for that. So what we're talking about here is elements of new support, is how support has evolved over the years. So one of the first things to look at is on which devices are customers looking for the most support. It might not be a huge surprise to us that these are the top ones. Computers, of course, top one. Smartphone and tablets really come in right tied at number two. The home network, people are looking for a lot of support with their Wi-Fi networks, including signal strength and devices and IP address conflicts and everything that goes along with that. And the fifth one there would be flat panel TV. So those are the top 5 devices on which customers are looking for support. So what are some capabilities? If we're on a call today and we're thinking, buy versus build, right? Do we buy or partner with somebody for an offering like this to monetize our support? Or do we look at building that program internally? And certainly everybody has both of those options. And so if you are going to build something like this or evaluate a partner, what are some recommended capabilities that we see in the industry? So delivering effective support today does require some new capabilities. Some of these things are already in deployment. Some of them are cutting edge, and we're bringing them up here just to put them on your radar. For example, number one, visual IVR applications. This would allow a customer to either open an app on a smartphone or a tablet, or to go to a web page and navigate through an IVR. So rather than calling in and pressing 1 for internet and 3 for modem, and then 5 for the type of problem or the type of modem that I have, rather than doing that, a customer can now visually navigate through that IVR. In fact, if anybody on the call today lives on a Comcast system, Comcast is trialing out this kind of an application. And there are a couple of vendors I know out there that have developed similar applications and are wholesaling them along to providers. So that's a very hot new category you'll probably be seeing a lot more of in this function of support. Number 2, remote access tools, including tablet and smartphone access. That's a big one. It's really easy to find or even use a free remote access tool that allows you to access somebody's desktop computer. What's really important today is that remote access tool includes tablet and smartphone access, similar to our Direct Connect tool, which absolutely does that for both iOS and for Android, as a matter of fact. Number 3, so the third recommendation here is to have a remote access tool similar to our Direct Connect that has smartphone camera access. So one of the really cool new features that we've been able to start using here is if a customer grants us access to the camera on their smartphone or tablet, they can actually show our technician exactly what they're looking at and get help as if the technician's right there in the home. So for example, I could take that smartphone around behind my smart TV and I can grant access to our security coverage technician to the camera, and I can show him exactly where all the wires are plugged in and find out, do I have them set up correctly, or do I just need to switch one to another port? So that's a really cool feature and very cutting edge that some of these tools have. Number 4, there's some really cool stuff going on with network diagnostics and mapping tools. Some of them require TR69 compliant hardware, which usually means like DOCSIS 3 or newer. But there are some really cool tools. We have Direct Connect has some network diagnostics built right in where we can view other devices that are connected. We can optimize signal strength and look at different access points throughout the house. Just a lot of really cool tools out there today that allow that kind of a capability. Number 5 is call history, showing prior issues, related calls, or outage alerts. Why would that be important? Well, if somebody's calling in for premium support and they're having trouble on their tablet, if we can see there's an outage in their area, that certainly helps us to diagnose the problem without going through 30 minutes of troubleshooting on their iPad. So good to be able to integrate those wherever possible. And lastly, a seamless experience, whether during the day, whether at night, or whether you're outsourcing to a vendor partner. So those are some recommended capabilities based on our experience that help you to deliver the new customer demands for technical support. So what about some other changes in support? So we've talked through some of the capabilities and the customer demands. One of the big paradigm shifts that we see is that it's becoming less about touch points. I know we're all very concerned with brand promoters versus detractors today. So those of us who may be measuring those scores, this would probably be a good data point to key in on. So a lot of the new support experience becomes about the entire customer journey rather than just the sum of the individual touch points. And I'll dig into that here a little bit deeper. So Harvard Business Review recently published a study regarding the new customer onboarding experience. In their study, this was a telecom-specific study. The customer onboarding experience typically spanned about 3 months. It involved an average of about 6 phone calls, as well as 1 home visit from a technician or installer, and numerous web and email exchanges. So during this study, each interaction the provider had with their customer had a very high likelihood of going well when looked at itself as on its own evaluation. So very high likelihood of each interaction going well. But the interesting part is that over this journey, over this onboarding period, customer satisfaction actually fell by 40% over that customer onboarding experience. So what does that mean? Well, we can have a lot of really good customer touch points. We can have a positive interaction, and we can sum all of those up and think, okay, maybe our customers are happier than they actually are. But until we're looking at the entire customer experience, we may be missing out on some opportunities to improve that. Does the customer want to talk to us that much? Do they want to have to reach out to us that much? What does the overall experience look like? So that's one of the changes that we see today related to the new way support is being delivered. Here's another new development in support is combining help desk and premium tech support, either with one provider or a carrier, an MSO, offering this on their own. So what are some potential advantages to offering both in-scope help desk and premium tech support, or getting all those from one partner, such as security coverage or some of the other ones out there. One is faster resolution of trouble tickets. If a customer calls in and they have an issue with, say, their TV receiver and their tablet, and an out-of-scope or third-party device, they can get help for all of that on the same call. Two is consistency of processes and support. There's a lot of consistent dialogue and a lot of consistent processes between two groups that may be housed in one location. Three is shared best practices and more efficiency. Technology and customer needs are ever changing, and having two functions under one roof allows each management, each supervisor to share best practices and create some synergies amongst the teams. Next is synergies with sales processes. So there's a lot of revenue generation opportunity when these functions are being done under one roof. The next one is shared staffing and management resources. We know that fixed labor costs, it's always great when we can share those or spread those amongst as many units as possible. So anytime we can share supervisors or share management, there can be some cost efficiencies there. And lastly is a more robust knowledge base. You can cross-functionally grow your knowledge base from both in-scope support calls and out-of-scope support calls, and that becomes more and more of a resource or an advantage for you over time. So just some interesting points to look at about ways to combine in-scope help desk and premium tech support. So the last point here on the new support, the elements of new support, is that customers are using support as more and more of a differentiator today when they're choosing a provider. In fact, 73% of U.S. consumers who have access to premium tech support from their ISP said in a recent study they're very satisfied with their broadband services, as compared to 62% of broadband subscribers overall. So the delta there of about 11%, with the primary variable being premium tech support. 50% of people surveyed feel premium tech support is an important consideration when choosing their ISP. So when they're looking at who to go with, now we're talking about acquisition sales and new customer revenue. 50% see premium support as a differentiator when making that decision. So some good insights there, some good data points to keep in mind. Lastly, let's get into standing out in the crowd, and then we'll round out with monetizing tech support. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into one more poll here. And we're interested to know, in your customer support operations today, how does that help you stand out today? So if you had to complete that sentence, our customer support helps us stand out because, ... what would that answer be? And you can choose more than one answer. They should be popping up on your screen here any second. I see many of you are starting to answer that poll. Appreciate that. So if you had to choose a couple of those reasons or a few of those reasons, your customer support helps you stand out today because, what do you think those top choices would be? In fact, we've got a lot of you voting there. We appreciate that. We'll leave it open for just a few more seconds here if you want to choose that one last option. Okay, so it looks like the majority of you have voted, so we appreciate those votes coming in. And I'm going to go ahead and read the results here. So I'm going to go ahead and close voting. Okay, so 50% of us said our support helps us stand out because we offer 24/7 support. So that's obviously a hot item, and something we know that customers are looking for. Great to see that half of you are offering that today, and you think that helps you stand out. Another 50% said we have very high service levels. So you're able to get to calls quickly, you're able to resolve them efficiently, and a customer has a good and time-efficient experience. And then several other of you said that you recruit the best talent, so you have very talented people on the call resolving issues for customers. There were, of course, some other categories that maybe weren't listed, and several of you said that you need help. Well, you guys win the award for honesty. So that's probably exactly why, or one of the reasons you're on the call today. So we appreciate your candor and honesty there. Okay, so when we talk about standing out, we're always going to stand out. It's really just a matter of for what are we standing out. Some interesting statistics here is that 86% of customers say they will simply stop using a brand after one bad experience. So that's pretty drastic and pretty severe. And so certainly something to keep in mind. 82% said they would communicate their bad experience with others via social media. If we were in a room in person today, I would probably ask for a show of hands and say, how many of us have gone on and tweeted about something when it really made us mad? I think most of us probably have, or maybe Facebook or Instagram or something else. So our customers are certainly no different. So when we're talking about standing out, specifically when it comes to premium technical support, what are some best practices that we can share there? Well, there should be a list of 7 of those on your screen, assuming I've got the screen share back going. One is to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that's, many of you are already doing that, and if you're not, that's a great way to stand out, especially for paid or premium technical support. 2 is avoid heavy accents. That's one of the #1 pet peeves when people call for technical support or customer support, is to avoid heavy accents. 3 is to avoid scripts wherever possible. We advocate heavily a non-scripted environment where a customer can have a natural conversation with the technician. 4, use remote access control and tools, as we alluded to a few slides ago. 5 is multiple contact methods, and I'm moving through these pretty quickly. Multiple contact methods, phone, chat, and email. Sometimes customers can't call in, or they don't want to call in. Maybe they just want to chat, or they just want to send an email. So it's important that we're available to interact with that customer in whichever medium they choose. 6 is to have very clear terms and very clear scope of support. So when somebody signs up for a premium tech support package, it should be very clear what can be supported and what can't. And so that's the whole idea of, tell me when this is going to cost me more when you're talking about an auto mechanic or a service shop. Kind of the same idea here, that it should be very clear what a customer is getting as part of this package. And 7, and a great segue into our last section here of monetization, is offer both subscription and point-of-pain pricing options. The most lucrative revenue models always include both point-of-pain and subscription options. So speaking of pricing strategies, that brings us into our last section, which is monetizing support. And here's hopefully what many of us may want to know is specifically how much can we charge and what are some results people are getting, and what kinds of packages do we recommend offering. So when we look first at the idea of an addressable market, what is the value of premium tech support? By 2017, recent research suggests that premium tech support will be an $8.25 billion business by 2017. So let's all give ourselves a pat on the back for being on the right call at the right time, because this is a very rapidly growing category with a huge potential addressable market by 2017. So out of that massive market size, let's jump all the way down to a granular level. What does a customer want to pay, or how do they prefer to pay for premium technical support? So if we're thinking about offering a product like this today, these are the 2 options customers most prefer. 58% of customers prefer to pay a one-time fee for technical support. So rather than subscribing to a package, they prefer to pay a one-time fee. The balance of that, 42%, would prefer either a monthly or an annual subscription. So it's close to half and half. 42% preferring to pay monthly or with an annual subscription. So we have 2 different models here. If you're taking notes and kind of put them side by side, we have a one-time fee and we have a subscription model, either monthly or annual. So what are the big advantages to both of those options? If we're offering a subscription model, either it's monthly or annual, what are the pluses or the minuses? So from our experience and industry best practices, here are the pluses and minuses of a subscription product. On the plus side, we are building a customer base for this product. So the more subscription products you sell, the more customer base that you're building. You're also gaining recurring monthly revenue that's being generated from that customer base. Third is a subscription product can very easily be attached at both the point of sale as well as the point of paying. And that's in contrast to the one-time fee. So the subscription product can be sold at point of sale and also at the point of paying. And lastly, it is a breakage model, and that's actually in both columns. It can be a really good thing that it's a breakage model as long as the model is correct, or it can also be a bad thing if there's overuse. So on the minus side, what are some of the downsides of offering a subscription-based product? One is lower ARPU. So if you're not charging, $70 or $100 per incident, just as a general metric, your ARPU, of course, is going to be lower on a subscription-based model. Churn is still a factor. So you are going to have some customers who are going to exit the product, and maybe some customers who are even going to game the product. They don't want to pay a one-time fee. They may add a package, consume services, and then cancel the package if there's no term commitment required. We haven't seen a ton of that. We know it's there, and as an industry, everybody knows it's there. So some providers all ask for the term, some don't, but something to keep in mind. And lastly, breakage model, of course. If it's overused, then that can potentially work against you. So that's the subscription-based pricing model. The second model, which we always recommend offering side by side, is a one-time fee-based product. And the plus side, so what are the benefits of offering a one-time fee? The first one is it's much higher ARPU. We're talking about a single point of pain usually purchase where somebody buys, say, a virus removal, if they buy an operating system install. So their price is going to range anywhere from $40 on up to $100 or $125. So you're going to have much higher ARPU just as a general metric. It's also very popular with customers. It's not really perceived as a sale as much as it is a prescription or a point of pain solution. It's a very easy sale at the point of pain when somebody's having that problem. What about in the minus column? Well, in the minus column, and it's a really big one, is there's no recurring revenue. That's why you don't want to offer just this product, because you're really not building anything over time. You're simply collecting fees on a monthly basis, which is not bad, but you also want to see the most valuable overall model. You want to offer both side by side. So those are the two different pricing options. We have the monthly subscription as well as the one-time fee. So one of the things when we asked everybody ahead of time, what do you guys want to see on this webinar? We have so much content and so much research out there. One of the most common things that we heard is we want to see results of what some other partners are doing with these kinds of products. So we're going to walk you through partner A, we'll call them here. And this is a security coverage partner that offers our Tech Home hosted products. Many of you may be familiar with that. The Tech Home hosted product is essentially a turnkey offering that allows you to offer premium technical support with all of our industry-leading software products bundled in. And it's an offer that's ready to go, and it's a turnkey wholesale partnership. So that's what this partner is offering. They completed the agreement in December. We launched them in the first quarter on this product offering. So the important probably three numbers are down at the bottom, the numbers that most people want to know. One is they're adding a monthly take rate of about 1/3% of their total subscriber base. So in terms of how much of it they're selling, what their monthly traction is, it's about 1/3 of 1% each monthly of their customers that take these products. The second important number is the ARPU. So their average revenue per unit, which is weighted based on the product mix, is about $7, and their average margin per unit is about $2.35. So they're at about a 35% margin on every unit that they're selling. Let's look at one other example. So that's Tech Home Partner A. Tech Home Partner B, slightly different scenario and a little bit of different results here. So they have about 44,000 subscribers. They launched at about the same time as Partner A. And here's some anonymized data. They're selling about 1/4% per month. So that's their monthly traction. And their weighted ARPU is about $8. So they're selling more of the higher package. And their weighted margin on every unit that they're selling is about $6. So they're at a closer to 70% margin because of the way that they licensed out these products. Okay, so that's a little bit of partner take rate information. Just looking to see if we have any questions in the box here. Don't see any yet, so that's great. We're assuming everybody's getting some good notes here. So last few slides here, and then we'll actually unmute everybody's phones and field questions that way as well. Everybody wants to know, what can you charge for these kinds of packages? We obviously have a time-tested model, and our price points have been tested. But if you want to look and see at what everybody else is charging out there, there's some numbers on your screens. Our Tech Home product is there at the very bottom. And of course, we cover an unlimited number of devices inside the home that are connected to the home network for just $14.99 per month. Verizon, AT&T, Frontier, Windstream, and Geek Squad all have their own iterations of that, and none of them are offering unlimited. But that gives you an idea of price point and what the market may bear. So the last thing is product categories. We looked at competitive pricing. What are some of the categories that the major operators out there are offering? The top 3 telco and the top 3 cable are listed on the table there on your screen. They're offering internet security and parental controls across the board. So everybody on this list is. File backup, 5 of the 7 listed have that. Premium tech support, everybody there is offering some kind of support beyond their supplied device or beyond the next in line device. 4 of the 7 are offering it 24/7, and another 4 of the 7 are offering a password management category as well. So those tend to be the most popular categories and gives you a good idea of who's offering what. Security coverage, of course, has a great solution for all of this. So we've talked through a lot of the research that shows the importance of this kind of a category. We've talked through some of the capabilities that are needed to deliver this kind of stuff. We've talked through some of the best practices, and we've talked through the monetization models and monthly take rate and price points and things like that. So security coverage has done a lot of this work for you over the years. And if you're on the call today wondering, do I buy or do I build this kind of a solution? We look forward to talking with you about that. We can share some additional expertise and give you an idea of what we might be able to do for you. We have many different iterations of our support products, including some of the ones you see on the screen. Total Tech Services, which is our one-time fee-based premium tech support offer. Total Tech Premium, which is a monthly premium technical support program. Total Tech Support, which is our voice, video, and data product for cable MSOs and telco carriers. We also do some warranty triage programs through Total Tech Support. So that's a great offer and a very rapidly growing offer for us. On the premium side, we have both single device plans as well as unlimited device plans. So you see some sample price points there on the screen. And our most popular bundled hosted product this year is Tech Home. And that's what most of our recent launches have consisted of. Tech Home includes premium technical support along with a product bundle of our most popular software products, including internet security, parental controls, all those categories we showed you that the major internet providers are offering. We have all of those categories and more bundled into the Tech Home bundle offer. So that is a great way to go about it by combining software products and premium technical support. One of the ways we deliver all of those services in a world-class fashion, call after call, is that we're able to use a powerful tool called Direct Connect that allows us to remotely access both desktops and laptops and allows us to remotely access tablets and smartphones. It includes some really cool diagnostic tools, things like, improving battery life on this device. There's a one-button tool we can run that'll help us to change those settings. Setting up email clients, that can all be done at the click of one button. All kinds of network tools to view signal strength and to try to optimize signal strength. Lots of great tools built into this platform. So we'd be glad to hang on the line afterwards if you guys want to see a demo of that product. We do have a demo video I can walk you through of how that product works. Or if you'd like to schedule a demo sometime one-on-one, we would love to do that as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and then Mike, if you want to open it back up for questions, we want to go ahead and unmute everybody and
muted.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. So most of you guys, as long as you have entered your access code when joining the webinar, you should be unlocked now. Otherwise, we do have the console available on the chat bar there. We do have 2 questions that came in already via the chat, Matt, so I'm going to ask these to you here. First off, will the slides be available that you're using today? Yes, absolutely. We'll have this webinar deck available for you. You'll receive an email here joining after the webinar concludes, letting you know how you can gain access to the deck that we've used here. Second part of that question could be, it says, can you speak to how you would overcome a challenge of moving from a service where several of these items have been included at no charge in the past, such as device support and wireless network setup? Matt, do you want to take that one? Matt must be experiencing some technical difficulties with the microphone. I'm sorry. We'll be back here just shortly. Okay, well, I'm not sure what's going on with Matt's microphone. I must have lost him, but I'll field these questions here for us, and then likewise get back to you guys here with some of these answers. So the question I just asked again was, can you speak to how you would overcome the challenge of moving from a service where several of these items have been included at no cost and past the device support? Yeah, there's several ways you can do that. I mean, the first one is really just conditioning the customer. So marketing is going to be a key component of that, and getting the message out there to your customers that you have advanced support capabilities available, and then just conditioning those customers long-term into supporting that for a fee base. So we'd be happy to talk with you. We've done that with several of our partners in the past. We'd be happy to talk with you as far as some of those specifics that you can do that model with. The second question on here is, with proper training, can you provide support for customized mobile apps? With the advancement of our Direct Connect tool, we can absolutely support third-party applications on mobile. And of course, if it's a proprietary application like Facebook or something like that, it provided enough training on there, yes, we're able to gain access and troubleshoot and promote that app as well. But it's really going to be dependent on what the application is and what it's used for.
Mike, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are, Matt.
Yeah, great. Yeah, technical difficulties there. Somehow we all got muted again. I don't know how that happened. So I just wanted to circle back to Jason's question there about making that paradigm shift. And this is a really popular, really commonly felt concern as we're talking with potential new partners. And the idea there is that, you know what, we've supported this stuff, or we've tried to support this stuff as much as we can in the past. So how do we switch now to a monetized model? It can be tough. There's a lot of consumer education that Mike alluded to that has to take place, and there's no short way around that. The only other thing I wanted to add to what Mike said, we've had some partners go this route where you monetize premium tech support, but you include it for everybody. So in other words, you say, okay, we want to continue to provide all the support in the home, or we want to provide it at least for this group of premium customers. And we're going to do that, and we're going to do that for everybody. And then you work with either you build it out internally and you figure out what that's going to cost, or you work with a partner and you say, we want this partner to provide premium tech support for everybody. We don't want to staff for it. We don't have the tools for it. We don't have the documentation for it because there's so many different devices, but we are going to pay for it. And so we've had some partners go that route, and they've actually rolled that in to package changes or rate changes, where they've said this group of customers now gets all of that, and we're going to pay, per each customer for it. So that's the only other option or idea that I would add there based on past experience. But that's a great question. Thank you. What other questions do we have?
Is there any other questions out there? Well, like Matt said, we're going to hang on the line here, and for those of you guys interested in viewing the Direct Connect demo here that Matt's about to show you, please feel free to hang on. Likewise, we'll be on the line as well if there's any other questions that come up as well. For those of you guys who need to jump off, appreciate your time this afternoon. Again, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be sending a copy of the deck, and we've also recorded this webinar as well. So if you want to gain access to that, just please let us know. We'll be happy to provide it.
So thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day, and feel free to hang on the line. We're going to do a Direct Connect demo here in just about 90 seconds or so. So feel free to hang on the line for that. Otherwise, have a great day, and we'll look forward to following up. All right. So many of you are sticking around here. We appreciate that. If you need to drop off, feel free to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and queue up a video here that we're going to play, a video demo of our Direct Connect platform. I think there's always a lot of interest in how this thing works, and it's so cool that we like to demo it every chance that we get. So I'm going to go ahead and play a video demo here, and I'm going to talk you through it as if I'm doing it live. So bear with me as I call that video demo up, and it should be on your screen here in just a few seconds. Okay, so this is the Direct Connect demo, and we're going to show you the ability to access an Android device, an Android smartphone, right from this program. So this will be a Samsung Galaxy in this example here. And I'll show you, actually, as I'm accessing it, or as the demo is accessing it, we're looking at Wi-Fi settings. And right from the interface in this tool, our technician can enable or disable those Wi-Fi settings right from the connection console. So this is a video of a real-life example here, which means you're going to lose connection while the device switches from a data network to Wi-Fi. So that's really what happens, and it will reconnect automatically. So we've disconnected, and now it's going to show the device again on the right-hand side of the screen here. Now we're reconnected, and there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Request Settings button right here. This will give us the device's complete Wi-Fi setup. We can see what network the device connected to automatically. We can also see what available networks are in range there. It also shows what type of encryption the connection has, its signal strength, and which frequency it is using, which gigahertz frequency. We have the option to add a new connection, or we can delete an existing one. One of the things I'll show you here is we can request permission to set up a new email account. So maybe a customer is calling in with email help. The customer can deny permission if they want to, as you saw there. We've got permission granted here, so we're going to go ahead and add IMAP and add email settings here via the technician console. One of the cool things about this tool is it really speeds up the email configuration, because as we're entering domain names, we are able to retrieve domain-specific settings. That's built right into this technician console here in Direct Connect. So after the information is entered into Tech Console here, we're only going to click on the user device, or only one click rather, on the user device to go ahead and complete the email setup. So the customer, here does not have to lift a finger. Our technician is able to confirm what they're seeing on their device and confirm that the email is being set up. We have our log here, of course, our tool diagnostic log, event log. And so we're going to go ahead and navigate through the device to confirm that the email is set up. So I'm pulling up the inbox screen here. And now I can see that it looks like I am receiving email in that inbox. So email is now set up. The customer did not have to touch a thing. I'm going to go ahead and click the Quick Nav menu here to show you one more feature set. So I can click Quick Nav. I can hit the Google Play Store. And maybe I need to download an app. Maybe this customer is a Tech Home customer, and I'm trying to help them download Secure It for their Android device. So I'm going to go ahead and type that into the Google Play Store here and click the Install button. And that's going to walk me through the installation process. So just a standard step-by-step, just as if I have the device almost right in front of me. And in just a few seconds here, we'll go back to the technician's console. And we're going to click on Show All Applications. So it's going to pull the device information and list that up for us. We can go ahead and search by a number of different options if we want to see which apps are installed. And take a look, and now we can confirm that the install we just did, of course, was successful. We see the Secure It app was installed. And we can launch it, we can uninstall it, or we can copy the information to the clipboard. And so now I'm controlling the device here on the right-hand side, just as if I have the device almost in front of me here. So what about Facebook? What about other apps? So we'll go ahead and pull up the Facebook app and show you a quick view of what that looks like. We do support some functionality of third-party apps, making sure that they're functioning correctly and that they are, of course, getting people connected. So we can quickly launch and we can uninstall apps very easily right from that application search menu there that you're seeing on your screen. What if I want to direct that customer to a specific website? Maybe I don't want to read off the URL, or maybe they're hard of hearing, or just we just want to take them right to a site that we're using to diagnose or repair their problem. Maybe we want to reinstall a security coverage product. That's very easy to do. Or if we want to optimize battery use, that's another macro tool that's built right into this program. So very nice and easy to do that if somebody's having a common battery issues. And lastly, here's a brief glance at the File Manager, System Info, Device Config tabs. So these are some of the slightly more advanced device information tabs if we want to view memory usage, we want to view files that are installed on that device, lots of more specific and slightly more advanced information that we can view on those tabs. And that is it. So that's a little bit of a demo on the Direct Connect tool that our technicians use. And to find out more about that, we'd love to talk with each of you either this afternoon or right now, or if you'd like to reach out to us individually. So thanks so much for those of you that stuck around for that demo, and we appreciate your attention. Any questions right now? We'll, of course, hang on the line here for just a few more minutes. Any questions out there? We'll hang on for just a couple more minutes here. Otherwise, feel free to go ahead and drop off if you need to. Okay. Well, thanks so much for your attention, guys. We're going to go ahead and close the session here. I just want to thank each of you for joining. It's good to see a lot of familiar names on the webcast. And we'll look forward to talking with you. We'll follow up and make sure you got the value that you were looking for. Looks like I've got one question coming in here. Thank you, Cindy. If you sell Total Tech Home, would that include the Direct Connect? Yes, that's a great question. Any customer that has the the Tech Home product, if they were to buy that from you, they can absolutely, their technician can access their devices using that Direct Connect platform. So that's a tool that we use in our call center, and very powerful tool for a customer that has Tech Home. We may use that tool to access their machine. We don't license it out separately. I'm not sure if you're asking maybe about licensing it for your technicians. We don't license it out today separately, but it is something we use on a daily basis, and any customer that has Tech Home would probably be service delivery would happen through the Direct Connect tool. So great question. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here, guys. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon. Hope you're enjoying your summer, and we will look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks so much.